Look, I survived Crimson Vow. This guy just looks so utterly pathetic. Say, WTF, MTG. How long has it been? I don't think I was here since last decade, actually, but it's Kyle, back with Casual Wizard MTG. Where the hell have I been? I have no idea. I've been playing Magic, I just haven't been talking about Magic. I have no idea where I am right now in life, physically, mentally, emotionally. Where am I? So if you're new to Casual Wizard MTG here on YouTube, which basically I am at this point because it's been something like 4 years since my last video, which is insane. But what I like to do is focus on the art in Magic the Gathering. And from a fun perspective, there's nothing enlightening about my videos. I go over multiple sections. My favorite artwork, Magic artwork that makes me say WTF, MTG, and then I talk about general observations of the set and the cards. And I will preface this by saying that I love the game of Magic, most specifically the artwork. I wouldn't be playing this game if it wasn't for the artwork. If it's just a bunch of words on a card, it wouldn't be the same. It'd just be like reading little mini books. Nobody has time for that. And I also have to say that despite any of my stupid opinions and critiques in this video have nothing to do with how much I actually appreciate the art and the artist in this game of Magic that I love. And this is all just for fun, which I think it goes without saying after you see how much of an imbecile I am talking about this stuff. So anyway, we're gonna start talking about Crimson Vow. I'm gonna flash cards up in this general vicinity because that's what Casual Wizards like to do. So I'm going to talk about basic sets. A lot has changed in this 4 years since I've made a video. There are so many variants of artwork. It seems like every card has, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 76 different variations of the same card. And I don't know, and they're all cool, but it's too much. It's too much to go over. So I'm just going to be going over the basic baseline arts of released in the standard set of Crimson Vow. Okay, to start off with, we're going to jump into my favorite cards of the set. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. She just looks dope. Like, saying something is dope is like, I don't know, between like an 8 and a 9, maybe like an 8.3 out of 10. So dope is pretty good. Is a pretty good compliment, I think. Like Thalia, she just looks like she's battle ready. She's a little battle worn. And what I like also is it has like these zombies in the back, you know, in a lot of classic movies and zombie shots. None of them are complete without like the zombie faces and the hands, like on the windows behind, and they're all like trying to get into her. And you know, Thalia doesn't give a shit. Speaking of zombies, Headless Rider. Now, any of my videos in the past, not that you would see them because it's been forever, but I talk about how much I love purple. I'm spitting because I'm so excited about the purple, especially the purple with a lot of the black cards. Never fails dying eyes when I see purple on black. The whole thing is basically purple, has the giant moon and the glowing eyes of the horse, which that's you know, in this set there's a lot of glowing eyes on a lot of different characters like the zombies and the werewolves and some of the vampires. The glowing eyes seems to be like thematically there throughout the whole set. And then finally we have the Savior of Allenback, and I love the detail on the dude who's all ready. He's kind of like in a superhero pose. And what I really like about this, I love some of my favorite artwork in all of Magic sets are when it paints an entire picture and it's not just focusing on like the subject of the card, like, you know, Headless Rider, for example. We don't really get too much context of the story or the scene that he is in. However, on the Savior of Allenback, it's like it really paints this scene of this dude like in the middle, in the heat of battle. And I love the details of the skin. I mean, he has like the, you know, the light, the ambient light coming on him, which is kind of like a shine of sweat, or the light's just hitting him perfect. And we see vampires like lurching out to grab this dude, and he's got his like, you know, he's got like his Arobi frisbees that he, you know, they're probably sharpened because I don't know how much, you know, a rubber frisbee might do in this world, but hey, maybe this guy can like chuck them real hard. And you know, you've seen like those guys that throw like playing cards and they can like slice through watermelons, and maybe this Allenback dude, maybe he can chuck these plastic frisbees like right and you know, through these and decapitate a bitch vampire. You never know. And next we're going to jump into some general observations of the set, just fun things that I kind of pick out as I go through the artwork. And I do want to preface this part by saying I like to compare the pictures of the characters with their power and defense. So if I see like a 4/4 creature, I like to compare it to the size of that creature. So if it looks like a tiny human like me, and yet the power and defense is 4/4 on the guy, I question that. I take into account also in reference to the rest of the creatures and characters across that individual plane. I also like to keep it within the current planes. A 2/2 creature in Crimson Vow with a 2/2 creature from like Ixalan or Amonkhet. Two different planes, and I think, you know, the power levels there's probably variations between the different planes. So I'm not going to take that into account specific to this set. Not a quick gander on all the 1 power, 1 defense creatures. As this is the baseline, I think it's kind of sets the tone for the whole set. If we see where the 1/1s are, and we kind of can scale up and scale back from that. So we have like Persistent Specimen, a Voldaren Epicure, Earl Recruit, a Snarling Wolf, a Toxic Scorpion, a Cat Spirit, and a couple more, but most importantly, we have a Doomed Dissenter, which is the key one that I want to talk about because this guy just looks so utterly pathetic. He looks malnourished. You could play some like slow music where, you know, Feed the Children. It kind of it stabs you in the heart when you see these hungry children and you hear this soft music. And it's like, oh, you want to donate all your money to feed these poor kids. And that's how I feel when I looked at the Doomed Dissenter. He's just malnourished, he's scared, he's lonely, and yet he's a 1/1, which I think if we compare to all the other 1/1s in the set, I don't like it. I think the Doomed Dissenter should be a 0/1. The levels of brutality in this set seem to go from really kind of like lame to like super brutal. Grisly Ritual, which some, you know, all we're seeing is some person's boots, and that's kind of like all that's left of them because they're literally being like disintegrated into just a pile of flesh and blood. Then we have something as lame as Fleeting Spirit, which is literally just a guy like choking out, which is really kind of pathetic. It seems like really kind of like a human thing to do, like a lame human earth thing to do, is just kind of like choke somebody out. Then some fun things. So if we take a look at the Wretched Throng, this is kind of sick. It's got this dude, the Throng, is barfing out another Throng, and that Throng is barfing out another Throng. The Throngs are barfing more Throngs, are barfing more Throngs, barfing more Throngs, are barfing more Throngs, barfing more Throngs, are barfing more Throngs. It begs the age-old question of which came first, the Wretched Throng or the barf? Like, which came first? Hell if I know. So I actually laughed when I saw this for the first time. The card is Daybreak Combatants, and you cannot tell me that these are not 2 tourists that are on vacation, and they're standing in front of like a green screen, and you can tell it's just like, you know, those places where you can go and get, you know, they have a bunch of props and you pay, and you stand with your props in front of a green screen so they can put you wherever you want, and then, you know, they take some photos and they just Photoshop you into like this scene. That is exactly what's going on here. You can tell I have zero doubts that these two are just 2 tourists, like grabbing some weapons, making faces for the camera. And, you know, as soon as this photo is done, then they go back to like laughing, and then they go out and get their Starbucks and, you know, move on with their day and bring this, you know, pay $45 for the picture that they just took to go home and show their grandparents and their friends, like, look, you know, I survived Crimson Vow. They take one of those t-shirts home. This other very human, earthly thing called the Saw Blade Slinger. It's just like literally her weapon are blades from circular saws, and she's like chucking them around. It's kind of like an upgrade of the Savior of Allenback, who I said was like using frisbees. Like maybe he should take a note from the Saw Blade Slinger and actually, you know, maybe throw some saw blades. But it makes you wonder, like, what if she runs out, like, does she go to like Home Depot? If she runs out of blades to throw? Blood Vial Purveyor looks exactly like the Green Bay Packers quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. And now the moment that we've all been waiting for is where we get into WTF MTG. What the desperate farmer were you thinking with some of these inaccuracies? So one of the biggest WTF MTG discrepancies I have in this particular set revolves around the Kessig Wolf Rider. It's a 1-2, and we already know that other wolves in the set are at least 1-1. If we look at a Paksong pup, for example, it's a 1-1. It's a little strange because it's a pup, so it's a 1-1, yet it has the same strength as a Keswick wolf rider. I find that hard to believe, especially if we look at the snarling wolf, for example. That is a 1-1 on its own. This is a real shocker here. The reclusive taxidermist and works with dead animals and is like stitching up a dead wolf, but this taxidermist is also a 1-2. But if we look at Child of the Pack, which is a 2-5, Child of the Pack, it is literally a child on a wolf, which looks very similar in size to the Keswick wolf rider, the wolf in that card, and it's a child, and we have an adult. All things considered, they look pretty similar, except one is a child, and yet it is stronger than this adult. I think the Keswick wolf rider is vastly underpowered, obviously, compared to the other wolves in the set. It just makes me say, WTF, MTG. I did make a little note here about Frenzied Devils, which, it's devils plural, and it's only a 3/3, which means, in relative terms, that it can be stopped by the apprentice sharpshooter, which is a 1/4, the gluttonous guest at 1/4, and even the cloaked cadet, which is a 2/4. My problem with this is that those are single individuals, and then they're fighting a group of devils. A group of devils would take out all these single individuals. Maybe they're tiny devils. Maybe like those little devils that kind of live on your shoulder and tell you to do bad shit in your ear. Like if you go to your friend's birthday party and their mom gets a pizza and it's like 10 slices and there's 10 friends, so everybody gets like one slice of pizza, but you finish your pizza so fast, so you eat a second piece of pizza, and poor Johnny never got his slice, and he's wondering what happened. He was out there still roller skating when the pizza came, so he's all excited to get off his skates and just have a piece of pizza, but it's gone because you ate it, because the devil told you to on your shoulder, and you're like, I didn't do it. It wasn't me, Johnny. It wasn't me. Maybe it's those kind of devils. Maybe it's just tiny little devils. That would make sense. And I like to close out these videos covering some of my favorite flavor text on these cards, which oftentimes the ones that stand out to me are ones that seem like analogies or metaphors for life at large, and something inspirational that brings me into the world around me. And I'm going to start with the Militia Rallier, which quotes, "We can wait like helpless children for a hero, or we can gather our courage and be the heroes. Who's with me?" That's pretty kick-ass. It makes me think of creating the reality that we want. And, at the end of the day, that no one is coming to help us. And whatever life we want, we're the ones that are responsible for doing it. Nothing can get better in our lives or the world around us unless we take actions. We can't just wish it into existence. We have to be the heroes of our own lives. And, it's a version of the famous quote of "be the change you want to see in the world." Then we're going back to the frenzied devils, the little devils on our shoulders, which quotes, "Devils need no reason to stir up chaos. The chaos itself is their reward." And I think this is such an important message, at least my interpretation of this is such an important message. It's like, if you love something, if something makes you happy, then do it. You don't need to be understood by anybody else. You don't need to explain yourself to anybody else. What makes you happy is irrelevant to other people's lives, and don't let somebody else's opinion of how you should live or what you should be doing with your life. Find what makes you happy and go out there and, dang it, do it. And then the ever famous Evolving Wilds, which I think Bad Boy MTG, this is like the card that I love what he does, where he's like, it's the most busted card in Magic. I think it's really funny when he says it. But Evolving Wilds, which quotes, "Spend too much time scanning the shadows for evil, and you'll never see the beauty our world has to offer." And I think this ties into the message, kind of the same message of the Militia Rallier, that if you focus a lot of your energy or all your energy on worrying about the results of the day or the chaos in the world or all the problems that you have or the problems in the world, if you're feeling sorry for yourself, or even burying your head in the news, which will absolutely show you all the shit that's going on in the world. If you spend too much time involved in all the negative stuff in the world and other people's opinions, then all you're really doing is suffocating your own beautiful mind, basically. You get scared to try new things. You get scared of going out there and adventuring. You get scared of going outside your comfort zone. And when that happens, if you always stay where everything is safe, there's no room for progress. Evolution, progress can only happen when we go out there and adventure. And the only way we get inspired to adventure is by being curious of all the beauty that is around us and wanting to know more. And if we get caught up with all the stupid shit going on with our lives, it can really dumb us down and create that stifling feeling of not wanting to do anything because it's just too much to bear. Go out there, because I know for a fact that the world needs people like you and your message and what you have to say. So go out there, be you, adventure, go see the beauty in the world, because there's a hell of a lot of opportunity out there. Thanks for checking out the video, Casual Wizard MTG. So stay casual, stay magical.